Good day, happy Friday, and welcome everyone. I'm Jack Van Horn from the University of Virginia, and I'm very proud to welcome you to this edition of our 2022-2023 Foundations of Biomedical Data Science Seminar Series. This lecture series is supported by UVA's Integrated Translational Health Institute of Virginia, the UVA Brain Institute, the College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Data Science, and through a grant from the National Institutes of General Medical Sciences. Since 2016, the Foundations of Biomedical Data Science Seminar Series has focused on the use of data science methodologies, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and statistical modeling as they pertain to differing themes in the biomedical and health sciences. This year's theme is Data Science and the Public Health Consequences of the COVID-19 Pandemic, where every Friday we hear from leading thinkers about the issues, promise, opportunities, and hurdles associated with understanding the secondary health effects of COVID-19. These health effects include delayed health checkups, treatments, mental health, drug abuse, increased obesity, and the long lingering health effects associated with the SARS-CoV-19 virus. Indeed, our 2022-2023 application cycle is now open, and we strongly encourage junior faculty members working in areas such as infectious disease, epidemiology, clinical medicine, population health, as well as data science, machine learning, AI, statistics, and other relevant domains to consider applying. We believe this is an exciting and engaging program where characterizing the secondary health effects of COVID-19 necessitates a unique quantitative approach, but also new multidisciplinary collaborations. Participants in the selected Biomedical Data Science Innovation Lab program will leverage these presentations as vital material for our culminating in-person grant project development workshop to be held at the Lodge at St. Edward's Park in Seattle, Washington in June of 2023. Today, I am delighted to welcome not one, but two speakers, Dr. Olga Brosnik and Asif Rizwan from the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute at the National Institutes of Health. Dr. Brosnik is a data scientist who co-leads the BioData Catalyst team and works on synthesizing data science activities across NHLBI. Following her mission to empower individuals and communities with data, knowledge, and tools is a process of creating their health. She brings together a broad spectrum of disciplines from computer science to transformative leadership and trustworthy, sustainable engagement. Originally a computational physicist, Olga facilitated the adoption of innovative approaches in biomedical computing and informatics, collaborative technologies, data and knowledge integration, modeling, and visualization, and has led a variety of interagency initiatives in open science and innovation. Asif is a health scientist administrator who actively manages NIH research awards, which include genetics, proteomic, metabolomic tools, and systems biology approaches. His academic and research training have given him a unique background with a wide diversity of scientific disciplines, including biomedical engineering, diagnostics, data science, health equity, and technology. He also serves as a program staff on initiatives to support whole genome sequencing and other omic-related data analyses. He serves as program manager for NIH RADx Tech initiatives and a dedicated congressional appropriation to speed innovation in the development, commercialization, and implementation of technologies for COVID testing. In continuing with our 2022-2023 Biomedical Data Science Seminar Series theme, Olga is going to be presenting on the data science ecosystem of the BioData Catalyst. Asif is going to be discussing trustworthy, inclusive, and responsible AI. He'll also discuss synthetic data for biomedical research. And we look forward to a long conversation with each of them in the last 10 minutes or so of their presentation. As always, we are streaming this lecture live and for recording via YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Also, our specially selected 2022-2023 Biomedical Data Science Innovation Lab participants and alumni are encouraged to submit any questions they have via the chat feature in their Zoom sessions. I'll synthesize these questions and will help to ask them on your behalf during the last 10 minutes or so of the lecture. And with that, Olga and Asif, welcome. We are so looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you so much, Jack. I'm a little bit, so I have two screens to manage. Thank you so much. I'm totally thrilled to be here. Both of my children went through the experience of the University of Virginia, one in graduate school, one in undergraduate. as an undergraduate, and I'm totally thrilled to be here and give back to the community. So today I will be talking about NHLBI BioData Catalyst, how we are prioritizing diversity. And my first question to you is, why is diversity even important? I really am looking forward to your answers because as innovators in this Biomedical Innovation Lab, you have ideas that we at NIH may never have thought about. I've been a part of many innovation labs in my life, and I know that ideas could be amazing, ideas coming from these labs. Let me tell you just a few words about NIH and NHLBI. NIH, which stands for the National Institutes of Health. NIH mission is to seek fundamental knowledge about the nature and behavior of living system and the application of that knowledge to enhance health, lengthen life, and reduce illness and disability. NIH consists of 27 different institutes that focus on different aspects of our health life stages, like we have Institute of Aging, Child Health, we have Institute of Cancer, National Cancer Institute. As if I represent National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. So NHLBI has a vision for data science, and it includes leveraging emerging opportunities in data science to open new frontiers in HLBS research. Here is a little trick. We love acronyms in the federal government. So HLBS stands for Heart, Lung, Blood, and Sleep research that NHLBI is focused on. So vision for data science includes new technologies from omics platform to high throughput screening. This potential of vast amount of data to provide new insight into preemption and precise treatment of heart, lung, blood, and sleep disorders. This data could be optimally assessed and incorporated into clinical care, and we are seeing how it is happening and trying to help it. We focus on innovative approaches in integration, analysis, and interpretation of data from multiple sources, and enable effective use of data to understand biological, social, and behavioral determinants association with HLBS, health and diseases, and to improve patients' outcomes. So my question to you again, I will really appreciate your answers. If you want to make the best use of data that we have right now, and we have enormous amount of data on different aspects of our health, our life, our behaviors, what would you do? What would be your solutions? So NHLBI, some years ago, created NHLBI BioData Catalyst as one solution to this problem. It is a cloud-based ecosystem providing tools, applications, and workflows in secure workspaces. I want to say that BioData Catalyst Consortium has a statement of conduct, which says that it is dedicated to providing harassment-free experience for everyone, which means inclusion of everyone of different genders, gender identities, age, disability, physical appearance, and so on. Inclusion and diversity come very close together. So the explosion of clinical and research data in recent years has led to a need for cloud storage and analysis. It's obvious that you cannot download petabytes of data on your laptop and then crunch the numbers there. So that's why we established a cloud platform for this. So the mission of BioData Catalyst is to develop and integrate advanced cyber infrastructure, leading edge tools, and fair data to support the NHLBI research community. And the vision is to be a community-driven ecosystem, implementing data science solutions to democratize data and computational access to advanced HLBS science. As you can see, people and technology are combined in this ecosystem, and that makes it powerful. So one more acronym that I used on the previous screen is FAIR Data Principles. I'm sure most of you know about them, but I felt it would be fair to explain what FAIR means. FAIR principles include findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data. If you cannot find the data set, it's very little use to you. And if you cannot access, the same. So, and if you cannot interoperate a couple of different platforms or tools to work with the data, that's obviously true. And we want to make data reusable because it's a very valuable asset, especially data coming from clinical trials that sometimes cost millions of dollars. So BioData Catalyst ecosystem consists of people. They bring in different data, in this case, as it shows on the picture, genomics data, clinical data, imaging data. And then in the BioData Catalyst, you can process this data, store, you can reprocess. Here, I want to emphasize that workflows are very important for reproducibility of science. It is a big challenge in science to make it reproducible. So when we work with data, it seems very simple, but even in the data world, it's not so, because different people follow different workflows and different processes. So a little bit closer look at the same. You can search data, you can create new cohorts for your studies, combining multiple studies. You can reuse your workflow. Let's say, and explaining, I know maybe you know this, but workflow is a set of steps. First, you cleanse the data, then you combine it with something, then you process it with some specific tool, and then you want to remember how you did it, because the next person who comes in may not know what you did. So saving workflows actually enables reproducible science, which is a big advantage to this system. And I will talk about other aspects later, but basically you can bring on your own tools and applications and work in a secure environment and apply different tools and other applications. We also host data in BioData Catalyst. So currently, BioData Catalyst, or we call it BDC, as we love acronyms, it hosts several controlled and open data sets. And my today example, since I don't have that much time to talk about different examples, I picked the transomic for precision medicine example to talk about diverse data. But there are other data sets and different studies, and also users of PDC can bring their own data, which gives you flexibility, and you can analyze, co-analyze them with the data hosted in PDC and so on. Of course, we have data use agreements, data use limitations, and so on, and different IRB policies and guidelines. We definitely have to comply with them. So let's talk about transomics for precision medicine. Precision medicine is a program at NIH. A little bit more, few words about NIH. Basically what we do, we have small, comparatively small intramural program where people do science at NIH, but majority of our funding goes to extramural researchers and as I understood, your innovation lab is funded by one of the NIGMS, National Institute for General Medical Sciences. So the TopMed program, the part of the sponsored by NHLBI, provides aims to provide disease treatments tailored to an individual's unique genes and environments. TopMed integrates whole genome sequencing and other omics, such as metabolomics, epigenomics, protein, RNA expression patterns, with data with molecular, behavioral, imaging, environmental, and clinical data. Just a glimpse into TopMed data. These are on the left, you see whole genome sequencing. WGS stands for whole genome sequencing, and different omics are represented in the middle. And the number of publications definitely keeps growing since the beginning of TopMed. It has different phenotypic data. So phenotype focus on this pie chart shows that there are data is focused on blood diseases, heart diseases, lung diseases. This is TopMed ancestry and ethnicity. We usually have a problem that our data sets are mostly biased because majority of people have European ancestry. As you can see, it is the case with TopMed as well. However, the African ancestry takes a large piece of this pie, and so does Hispanic and Latina population, and Asian ancestry is represented as well. So even though there is bias, but there is definitely a good, well-represented diversity. This is a different representation of basically the same point, that we have a number of diverse participants. Light blue represents Europeans, red represents African, and this light green is Hispanic, Asian is in purple, and there are also others that didn't identify or were a mixture of different races. So just to highlight several examples from what has been achieved with TopMed data, I want to say that, for example, the asthma region was identified in Europeans, and then real causal SMP was discovered only in African Americans, which emphasizes how important it is to know the difference between different ancestries. Also, it turned out that normal lung function reference is racial specific. This publication identified a causal variant that showed that ancestry status almost entirely accounted for the difference in white blood counts between African Americans and European Americans. And also genetic mutations used for diagnosis of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy discovered in Europeans caused false positive diagnostic results in African Americans. So we really need diversity to make sure that everybody receives good care and positive outcomes from our treatments. So I'm coming back to the BDC ecosystem. Obviously, to provide needs of TopMed researchers, we first focused on different types of genome tools. And so the key tools in BDC ecosystem include genome-wide association study, genetic variant calling, structural variant calling, annotation explorer, TopMat imputation server, and AI machine libraries. I wanted to give just one example. We recently had presentation from the BDC fellows, and this example just kind of highlighted the importance of BDC. Jasmine Olvani studied malaria in Ghana population. According to what she said, BDC was an incredible platform. She got her pipeline functional very quickly and was able to access the data quickly. It would probably take months on a local machine. So BioData Catalyst has several very interesting features. First of all, it enables team collaboration because it is at the foundation of BDC. It allows users to bring data tools and workflows to the data. It provides hundreds of optimized plug-and-play tools so researcher can focus on their science and not technology. You really want to answer scientific questions and not to figure out how to put two different tools together. It allows you to get more done in less time. It's faster computing in the cloud. It supports reproducible workflows, provides support, tutorials, and documentation to help users navigate the system. It also provides $500 in cloud credits to new users of the system who works on heart, lung, blood, and sleep research. And it continues to develop according to user community needs. One program that I wanted to highlight here, which might be of interest to you, it is a BDC fellow program. The benefit for researcher is that it offers early career researchers funding for novel and innovative research. For BioData Catalyst, it is also beneficial because it improves the ecosystem which is user fellow feedback. We learn how to do business better, how to provide better environment for the scientists. It also provides engagement with consortium members, other fellows, and broader community. The program provides cost for salary, travel, training, publication, and conference fees to a maximum of currently $69K. If you would like more information, here is a website that you can check. We are very focused, again, speaking about people's side of data science. I want to mention that we are very focused on training collaborations and being mindful about these collaborations. The Summer Institute at the University of Washington introduced geneticists to modern methods of statistical analysis and statisticians to the challenges posed by the modern genetic data. Our current, we are now establishing collaborations with Atlanta University Center Data Science Initiative and Howard University, which is our local, historically Black university or college. If you are interested in exploring and learning more about BioData Catalyst, you can check out community hours. Community hours, even though it says hours, you don't have to spend hours there. You can pick a topic of your interest and watch YouTube video about specific interest of yours. For example, on reproducible science. We have YouTube channel, just like you do, where we have community hours, reflections from fellows, recording from different events and workshops, and how-tos and tutorials. And of course, we have newsletter that you can receive electronically if you subscribe. So all these resources are available on BioData Catalyst website that I pointed to earlier. So coming back to my question about diversity, I really am looking forward to see your answers to this question. But for me, it comes to the following. We live in this amazing country called United States of America, where population is diverse in so many different ways. We have racial diversity, ethnic diversity. We have diversity in education, religions. You pick, we have diversity on all different aspects. And we want to provide everyone with equal health opportunity. We want to provide the basis for health equity. So diversity is very important in our data sets and in our everyday life. And I am welcoming your thoughts about how we can even better do our diversity work. So BioData Catalyst prioritizes diversity in data sets throughout consortium, collaboration, and in asking powerful scientific questions. This is the end of my talk, and I want to express my gratitude to NHLBI leadership, to the BDC team, my NHLBI colleagues, and all of you for attending this event. Thank you very much. This is my contact information. If you want to send email following up with questions, I would be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. I think we just kick it off with Asif from now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Jack. Let me share my slides. Right. All right. The title of my first talk is Trustworthy, Inclusive, and Responsible AI for Biomedical Research. I'm Asif Rizwan. I'm a program director at NHLBI in the Blood Division. AI and machine learning have made positive impact in the healthcare. Machine learning algorithms are being developed for disease diagnostics, prognosis, drug discovery, protein structure prediction, imaging, patient interaction, healthcare administration, and for many other reasons. AI can learn from the features in the data. AI and machine learning can help streamline clinical decision. For example, technologies such as AlphaFold can predict protein structures with high precision. It can save a lot of time and resources for research. Machine learning algorithms are widely used in heart disease, cancer detection, COPD, asthma management, sickle cell anemia, pain research, and for many other research at NIH and across many other federal agencies. Machine learning and AI can give us more precise understanding of basic science, how to design new biomaterials, patient management, and overall is helping health research and healthcare. Given the power of AI and ML, it is clear that the scientists have the desire to engage with machine learning research. For instance, there are close to 1,500 NIH-funded new projects in machine learning and AI category, with a total of more than $800 million in funding during the fiscal year 2020 and 2021. You can see the spending amount by 27 ICN centers here, such as NCI, cancer, aging, heart, lung, blood, and sleep, and other ICs. However, although there is a rapid growth and adoption of machine learning, the lack of insight how exactly the machine learning works has delayed the full scientific understanding and also has led to distrust and hesitation in using machine learning algorithm. Some of the challenges are lack of transparency, limited data, lack of explainability and interpretability, lack of inclusiveness, security concern, and accountability concern. Many agencies and institutes have started creating guidelines to emphasize the role of trustworthy AI. Machine learning subject matter experts have raised this trustworthy topic at conferences and workshops across NIH, FDA, Food and Drug Administration, National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, and at many other places. Machine learning and AI are by no means perfect. There are many concerns that must be addressed. So to build and to maintain public trust in AI and machine learning, we need to create and adopt the principle of trustworthy AI. US Department of Health and Human Service has created a trustworthy AI playbook. They have identified 6 key components. Number 1, fair and impartial. Number 2, transparent and explainable. Number 3, responsible and accountable. Number 4, safe and secure. Number 5, privacy. And the last one, robust and reliable. So I will briefly talk on all of these components on my next slides. Fair and impartial. AI models must make predictions that do not introduce biases into the model. Impartiality must be considered throughout the entire model development, which includes data collection, model design, testing, and considering social determinants of health as a factor for the machine learning model. Machine learning outcome must be accurate with all demographics for all race, religion, gender. A 2022 recent study tested several different AI and machine learning models that can identify liver disease through blood test. That study found that the machine learning model missed 44% liver disease cases for women. However, the model only missed 23% cases for men. This is an example of inconsistency in model performance based on gender. Biases present in the data can propagate racial and social preferences in the machine learning model. A study found that pulse oximeters made mistakes when used on Asian, Black, and Hispanic population. Machine learning algorithms that were created by this pulse oximeter data might make wrong prediction. Many genomic studies were done in the European population, as Olga has mentioned in the last talk. So this result may have limited utility across population. Therefore, we must establish fair and impartial data sources and algorithms. Transparency and explainable. Everyone involved with the research, with the machine learning research should be properly informed about how their data is being used, how the AI system makes its decision. Transparency is essential for regulatory agencies such as FDA to review and to approve the models. Recently, research investigated the association between surgical skin marking in dermoscopic images and diagnostics performance of a deep learning neural network. They found that machine learning model classified images with surgical skin marker. So this is a mole. If there is surgical skin marker around the mole, the machine learning model made mistakes. They did not pay attention to the right features. So investigator could consider developing an explainability method. Overall, explainability and transparency have many potential applications in understanding the actual model and in understanding the biases. Responsibility, accountability. So machine learning policies should define who is responsible for all aspects of AI and machine learning. This also includes if a machine learning algorithm leads to a bad outcome, who is at fault? The researcher who created the technique, the business implementing the research, the doctor watching over the algorithm, the hospital using the algorithm. Is anyone at fault? What do you think? Please feel free to write your comments in the chat. Researchers should be transparent with their machine learning model, data sources, methods, results, and implementation of the model. This also includes how do you communicate mistakes to the public? If a AI medical device makes a wrong decision, there should be clear roles and responsibilities in place to respond to the problem, and how we can prevent this from happening. Safety and security. Machine learning models can become useless if proper security measures are not taken. One study found that a machine learning model trained on datasets injected with even 0.1% noise could lead to a wrong outcome. When we consider how much effort and resources it takes to collect the data for this model, then we must understand that we must make sure that AI systems are safe and secure. This should be a top priority to ensure trustworthy machine learning. Privacy. Are patients providing the data being adequately informed and giving consent? Does the data contain PII, PHI, or other sensitive data? Has the data been de-identified or encrypted? The privacy rights of all individuals and entities and groups should be preserved and maintained. Data collected from individuals should not be used for anything more than what it was authorized for. This has been a major cause for concern in machine learning research. Studies have shown that even data that has been de-identified, there are some technique to re-identify that data. So this is a big risk for privacy. Robustness and reliability. AI system should have the ability to learn from humans and other systems and produce accurate and reliable outputs consistent with the original design. The model must work in the real world. It must produce accurate and reliable outputs. If a researcher is not careful, a good AI machine learning model that works in a test population, that works in a lab, might be inaccurate when using real people data with a variety of symptoms and issues. Is the training data accurate? Is the training data the real representative of the real world settings? And is the training data free of noise and outliers? These are some of the key questions that we should all consider. Are the model's outputs sensitive to small variation in the inputs? How do you manage new versions of AI solutions? NIH and many other agencies have started putting a lot of attention to the challenge of trustworthy AI. NIH Aim Ahead program was created to advance health equity and diversity. Programs like Aim Ahead will increase the representation of underrepresented communities by building partnership. NIH Bridge to AI is another program that aims to develop ethically sourced datasets for AI projects. There are many other activities across NIH, such as MIDRIC, Medical Imaging and Data Resource Center, N3C, National COVID Cohort Collaborative, and Olga mentioned NHLBI BioData Catalyst, a cloud ecosystem. So all these programs try to address some aspects of trustworthy AI. They all want to address the harmful potential biases in the data and in the models. So there is also a lot of potential room to continue working towards the trustworthy AI initiatives across all the federal agencies. This summer, one of our intern, Eric Rosie, who was a ODSS Coding It Forward Summer Fellow, that is also a good program for any students who are interested to work in NIH. So please check that out in the ODSS and Coding It Forward website. So Eric analyzed publicly available NIH data to find NIH projects with a focus on the trustworthy AI principle. He conducted a keyword analysis as shown in table 1. These are the keywords, and that's the category: accountable, impartial, privacy, reliable, security, secure, and transparent. He counted the number of projects in each of these trustworthy category as shown in table 2. Overall, he found that only 11% of machine learning projects between 2019 and 2021 mentioned trustworthy AI keywords. So it shows that there are rooms for growth. In this talk, we tried to define certain principles as modeled by Health and Human Service guidelines. We also showed relevant examples where these principles could be addressed. As you can see from the figure, the input from all stakeholders, patients, caregivers, researchers, clinicians, communities, they all can provide feedback on existing and emerging machine learning tools to identify the gaps in the trustworthy principle. Most importantly, the adoption of these principles must be widespread. Researchers from all different backgrounds, companies, government organizations, clinicians, patients, we must all adopt and advocate for trustworthy AI principles to make sure that AI systems are truly helping individuals. Trustworthy, inclusive, responsible AI will benefit all individuals. It will prevent both intentional and unintentional harms and serve our mission in enhancing health. So I'd like to acknowledge our NHLBI leadership, NHLBI Data Science Coordinating Committee, ODSS leadership, and also most of the items that I presented today were prepared by Eric Rosie, who, as I mentioned, he was a Civic Digital Fellow. So please check that out. That is a good opportunity for students to work in NIH for 10 weeks in the summer. All right, I will, since we don't have much time, I'll jump into my next talk, synthetic health data for biomedical research. What is synthetic data? Synthetic health data is an inexpensive alternative to real-world data. Synthetic data maintains the statistical property of the original data. It is normally free of restriction that comes with PHI, protected health information, and PII, personally identifiable information. Synthetic data can meet the principle of fair, findability, accessibility, interoperability, and reusability, and ELSI, ethical, legal, and social implication. Olga mentioned that in her talk on the BioData Catalyst. So synthetic data can meet those principles. Synthetic data can be structured or unstructured. They can be generated from existing real-world data or can be new. There are many techniques to develop synthetic data. Generative adversarial networks is one of the best known deep learning-based model to generate synthetic data. Why we need synthetic data? We have seen many breakthroughs in data-driven technology in health research. This type of technology depends on large amount of quality health data. However, to access and to use health data are often challenging. Sometimes we need many, actually not sometimes, all the time, we need many different types of regulatory approval to access the data. Many health data can have limited sharing consents, especially if the data comes from vulnerable population. A lot of health data have location information, addresses, PHI, PII. Sometimes it is difficult to fully de-identify this type of health data. Sometimes actual data can be very small. Actual data may not be representative of the scope and the longitudinal, like over the time, like, you're getting data from multiple years, longitudinal aspects of the population. Synthetic data can be used to create a bigger health data sets, which can then be used to develop machine learning models and tools. Data for training and research. Sometimes it is challenging for training and PIs especially from a limited resource settings, where they may lack the support and the resources for using actual health data. Synthetic data can help in this situation as well. Right. So these are some of the selected publications on synthetic health data. The use of synthetic data have increased a lot recently. It is estimated that by 2030, most of the data used in machine learning will be artificially generated. Some of the recent publications have shown the use of techniques of synthetic health and biomedical data, synthetic patient data, synthetic data in machine learning for medicine and healthcare, synthetic genomic data. Publication has shown that synthetic health data sets are not significantly different from original data in terms of feature distribution, feature dependencies, and sensitivity. Overall, the risk of generating and using synthetic data is low. Some of the health and human service supported activities. There are actually several ongoing research on synthetic health data. NIH NCATS, National Center for Advancing Translational Science, they have a centralized secure data ecosystem to study COVID-19. This is known as N3C, National COVID Cohort Collaborative. N3C collects data from the electronic health records. And this data ecosystem has a synthetic data that were generated from the actual patient data. Citizen scientists can access this synthetic health data. ONC, Office of National Coordinator for Health Information Technology, ONC initiated a synthetic health data generation project in 2019 with a support from PICO-TF, Patient Centered Outcome Research Trust Fund. This project wanted to they produced a lot of high quality synthetic health data by Cynthia data generator. They generated several synthetic data modules such as sepsis, leukemia, opioids use, pediatric population. You can go to their website, NCATS website and ONC website for more up-to-date information and the status of these projects. There have been a steady increase in the number of applications with synthetic data at NIH. We found that the total number of applications that came to NIH and total number of applications that were funded, both of this number are going up over the years. Quality of application has increased as well. So the timing appears to be right for research for synthetic data in biomedical research. Here are some examples of research awards funded by NHLBI. These are all publicly available information at NIHreporter.gov website. So please go to that website if you are interested to know more about all of this synthetic data that is NIH is funding. In one application, PI is developing a privacy preserving synthetic data sets for clinical decision. Another application is using synthetic data to understand the impact of physician learning on the safety of cardiovascular devices. Another PI is using synthetic segmentation to develop models of echocardiographic image. In conclusion, this is my last slide. Synthetic data can maximize access while protecting the data privacy and sharing restriction. Synthetic data can reduce cost. It can eliminate many legal restrictions of data sharing. Synthetic data can improve teaching and training opportunities for next generation biomedical scientists. Synthetic data can be used for testing theories and algorithms. They can also provide big data for genetics and genome-wide association study. They can allow creation of population-specific test dataset, specifically for vulnerable population or diverse population. It can reduce bias and will allow training in AI and machine learning models for targeted intervention as well. So I would like to acknowledge NHLBI leadership, NHLBI Data Science Coordinating Committee, their leadership, and also I would like to acknowledge Emir Khazipov. He is also a program director at Citrus NHLBI, and he's working heavily on synthetic data at NHLBI. All right, I will stop sharing my slides now, and I can take any questions.
Great. Asif and Olga, thank you so much to the both of you for providing these wonderful overviews of what's going on at NHLBI and these various programs going on with AI and ML applications. Just some great resources in there. Thank you so much for sharing all those. One of the things which I learned, Olga, from your presentation, which I just didn't fully appreciate, was that NHLBI actually has a silent S at the end with sleep research. I did not know that. And so that may be very interesting for people who are interested in like doing sleep research, that maybe NHLBI is the place to look for that.
Yes, we have a sleep center.
That's fantastic. Well, one of the things which is kind of interesting about the Catalyst ecosystem is you mentioned harmonization, which I think is like one of the critical elements of this. Where we have such a diversity of data, you want to be able to make them play well with each other and make them interoperable, which is the I in the FAIR principles. And I'm curious about the role of standards, or at least best practices, from the point of view of the Catalyst, or your point of view, or from the NIH's point of view, about why that might be important.
Of course it is important. Of course it is very important, because if we all follow different standards, and the joke was from my early years, what is good about standards, there are so many to choose from. But if we, right. But if we all follow different standards, like you take an example, not from the data world, but from the real, when you go on travel to different countries, you have to bring this device that plugs into different electric outlets, so to make your whatever electric devices you brought with you work. The same with data. Of course, we follow different standards for different reasons, because people cannot. The ontology word was used to be only singular. Now it's plural, and we all use ontologies, because ontology is supposed to be a specification of conceptualization. But as we know, we cannot agree on religions. We all follow different paths in life and system of beliefs. But there should be something common in all this, so we can communicate to each other. Now, when we talk about the data standards, the same is true here. When we bring different data from different standards and different ontology, we have to harmonize them. We have to make sure we have this device that plugs into our data systems, that transforms the data that we collected according to one standard into a different standard or different data model. So there are a lot of efforts on standardizing many different data, but at the same time, we do acknowledge that people use different standards. And when we come together, we have to do a lot of, not a lot, but hopefully not so many transformations to make them play together, which is called harmonization of data, as you mentioned.
That's
I don't
great.
know if you want me to cite specific policies, but I can definitely send you everybody who is interested to visit ODSS website, Data Science. ODSS is Office of Data Science Strategy at NIH that has all the policy guidance on standards and different other aspects of data science.
That's wonderful, Olga. And this kind of the notion of harmonization kind of leads me to a question for Asif concerning, you mentioned trustworthiness in AI and ML applications. And I think, how the data are harmonized kind of helps to support the trustworthy nature of data and the algorithms that one would want to apply on it. And it brings me to kind of this notion of, you had the figure that kind of showed a series of things about robustness and privacy and accountability and whatnot. And it occurred to me that there's a huge balancing act that has to go on to make all of that work. So for example, you could have something that's really a robust algorithm, but it's just not explainable. So you could repeatably, get the same answer all the time, but you have no idea why. In contrast, you may have fairness of the data types that are being included, and they could be very diverse. But on the other hand, you have to balance people's privacy, and it has to be accountable. There needs to be accountability. I'm curious about how someone can help to keep that balancing act, keep all the plates spinning, if it were.
So Jack, at this moment, everyone has a different definition of trustworthiness, explainability, fairness, reliability, privacy, safety, responsibility. So we hope people will keep this in mind when they design their research. In NIH, all the research are hypothesis driven, right? So you design an experiment, you get the data, and you analyze the data. So if we can at least keep all this trustworthy principle in mind, then I strongly believe it will improve the trustworthy AI. This data will be fed into the model, right? So overall, I think, we have to keep all these things in mind, and it will take some time. We have been talking about trustworthy AI for the last several years, but it is difficult. It's difficult to implement all these principles.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that it seems like there's
explainability. Explainability is not easy, and some people don't like it. They don't want to hear about it, especially if they're hardcore data scientists, which I understand. Sometimes it is not possible. You cannot explain each of the layer, but some sort of explainability will be useful. That is what I'm trying to say.
So one thing that's kind of wondering about is this a potential role for some of the synthetic data that you mentioned, Asif? Could it help to bolster some of the, explainability, robustness, fairness, privacy? Obviously there's no privacy to necessarily be worried about, but can this help us to make sure that we can do that balancing act? It can help us to help define standards and help kind of build this little feedback loop to make sure that people are comfortable with what AI and ML have to offer us.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is one of the big use of, that will be one of the big use of synthetic data. People can develop new model, they can twist the data, they will have access to the data. The problem with the health data, the biggest problem is you need to have all this type of regulatory approval, IRB approval, and some of the data we just cannot share. So a PI develop a model based on the data, we don't know what the data were. It's sometimes difficult for others to verify the model. So synthetic data definitely can help us to spread the data, share the data, use hackathon, challenge prize, competition. So it will be much easier, definitely. There's a big use of synthetic data.
I think we've heard from some of the other NIH folks that we have had join us about various challenges and hackathon type things. And there's some interesting challenges that actually you can win and win prize money. I'm curious if there are any that you might point us to before we leave today. Or you could share them with me and I can make sure that they get to our audience members.
Sure, we can share that with you.
That'd be fantastic, because one of the things which I always enjoy about talking with folks from the NIH is that they provide us with these great big picture programs and ideas and kind of where the NIH is going. And inside of all of that, if you unpack it, there's all these little nuggets of amazing opportunities. And I want to make sure that our readers and our future Biomedical Data Science Innovation Lab participants have full access to those so they can take advantage of them. So please, yeah, send me anything that I might need to know. With that, Olga and Asif, thank you so much for sharing these great programs and these things that are happening at the level of the NIH in terms of the National Heart, Lung and Blood and Sleep Institute. And we are super excited to kind of follow up on some of these. And with that said, thank you again, and everyone have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Jack. It's been a privilege to